What was the big rumor in your high school? Did it turn out to be true? In my high school shortly after 9/11, people all of a sudden started passing out left and right and some even had to be hospitalized. Rumor was that it was another terrorist attack, only this time they were releasing noxious chemicals into the ventilation system. We were evacuated and didn't have school for about 3 days while they investigated. Truth was, it was just moldy sandwiches and rotten fruit. Someone had been hiding their friend's lunch in one of the vents for like 2 weeks. Edit. All of a sudden I get people telling me that all of a sudden is incorrect. I'm just here to tell a story. Damn. There was this kid. He was absolutely terrible at singing and acting. Yet every year, he was the lead role in whatever play musical the drama class was putting on. Rumor had it that he was banging the drama teacher. It was never actually confirmed, but summer after graduation, the two of them went on a trip to Europe together. Spanish teacher was allegedly in Playboy in the mid-70s. Turned out to be true. That a freshman girl was caught giving a pterodactyl to 3 seniors in the stairwell. Yes. Edit. The best part was that the person who discovered them was our grandmotherly biology teacher. The stairwell was directly behind her room. I imagine she said something like "oh my word" when she saw them. Really makes the story kinda silly. There was a rumor that some kid at my school died of an overdose or something. Everybody, including people who didn't even know the guy, made Facebook posts about how good of a guy he was and even created Facebook groups dedicated to his memory. Turns out kid was just got really sick for a couple of weeks and his friends decided to duck with everybody. Kid was like meh, duck it and played along. That I was gay? No. When I was a freshman in high school, the hot girl was a sophomore. Next year she wasn't in school anymore. The year after that I heard she was in porn. Turned out to be true. The school had to block her name in Google. That some guy took so much acid that he thought he was a carton of orange juice, and if he fell over all the orange juice would spill out and he'd die. No, it wasn't true. A special needs kid created a hit list that included most of the black people in my school. It turned out to be true. Edit. Happened in NJ. There was an underground pool that only the teachers had access to. My high school was built around 1999. Was supposedly designed like a prison. Has a massive amphitheater. And doesn't have any real walls aside from dividers in the wing areas. It also drew from a very affluent area, so you can imagine that shenanigans were always happening. From people smearing it on the walls in the bathroom, to people snorting lines of coke off a textbook. Anyways, every person at my high school has heard about the pool rumor. Hell, it already had 3 levels and an amphitheater. So why not a pool? The teachers would often joke or allude to the pool about how it was the last thing built, or that it wasn't filled with water so it couldn't be used. It was supposedly right under the gym floor and the gymnasium itself could open up to reveal a pool. I had 0 period weight training my junior and senior year, and we'd occasionally scout the gym to see if there was any hidden access port to it. We found nothing. There was a rumor at my school that a history teacher and girls volleyball coach was having sex with a few students. Very true. He was taken out of class and put in handcuffs. I was friends with 2 of the maybe 4 girls. Edit. People keep asking where this happened, so for those curious, it happened in Southern California 2009. Middle-aged high school history teacher was hitting on the freshman girls a little too much. The lingerie he bought for one of them was some damning evidence that got him fired. Rumor. Some kid jacked off in the cafeteria ranch dressing. Reality. Some kid jacked off in the cafeteria ranch dressing. He had to get tested for STDs since a ton of people consumed it. So there was a chance they could have gotten one from him. Luckily he was clean. Google for news article verification. That our JV girls softball coach was sleeping with one of the players. It was true. The news covered it and everything. He was mid-30s and she was 16. Teacher was selling coke to students and letting them smoke weed in her classroom, get high on coke at her house. Yes, it turned out to be true. This was the same year the middle school teacher at the school next door was busted for child touching. Why are there so many teachers banging students? I went to an all-boys boarding school. Well, there was a rumor that many of the very popular upperclassmen were having kind of a gay orgy, including one of the adults in charge of a floor in the student housing. All these guys were pulling crazy amounts of girls. Everyone was 18 out of the orgy, so everyone can stand down. Adult was fired immediately once rumor spread at end of term. True. Teacher took 2 students to a concert and then had a 3-way. Was true. And then a year or 2 later I think one of our coaches did the same thing. It was rumored my former 9th grade science teacher was going to pose for Playboy. It was completely untrue, because she skipped straight to porn. Leah Lust. Super NSFW. That a girl there regularly had sex with horses. I still to this day have no idea if it was true. She was pretty chill though. TL. DR, that's my breakfast. When I was in high school, there was a girl, can't remember her name, let's call her Jamie, who was dating this kid we all called Army Drew because he wore army fatigues to school. Well, story goes that Army Drew's parents were out of town, so he invited Jamie over for the night. They stayed in his parents' master bedroom and did what unsupervised high school kids do. Sex. They had sex. Anyways, the next morning, they're both still naked as the day they were born. Army Drew gets up to go to the bathroom, while Jamie lounges in the nice big bed. She's laying on her stomach when Army Drew comes back and shoves his face into her ass and begins motorboating her chocolate starfish like he's digging for lemons with his tongue. Then, he rears back and hollers into the morning air. That's my breakfast. The incident got around school because girls tell their best friends everything. And as soon as they get in one little fight over some minute bullet, the best friend blabbers their most embarrassing weird sex situations all over the lunchroom and MySpace. For some reason, no one gave Army Drew any it for it, but Jamie had people yelling "that's my breakfast" at her for months afterwards, and I, who had one class with her, still remember it 10 years later. I'm sure she's thrilled she made such a lasting impact on so many people. The world was going to end on the 20th of April, 1999. I have no idea how this rumor got started, but people were dead serious about it, and then the world didn't end and everything went on as normal. That my brother and I were dating each other. Big fat no. So there was this quiet kid at my high school. Call him B. B had friends, but they were all secluded. They didn't talk to the rest of the school. So B gets sick one day. He goes to the doctor and has to stay home for a while. He's not in danger of dying, but he's contagious and thus has to stay home for about 2 weeks. Our classes were pretty small, so people started to notice after 2 days that he was missing. Rather than ask his friends, like logical people, his classmates just assumed he was dead. In less than a week the whole school knew B had been run over by a truck and people were trying to figure out when his funeral was. Needless to say, people were confused when he pulled a Jesus, minus the scars. He got a kick out of it, and it became a joke around school to say "I thought you died" when B showed up anywhere. That a friend of mine was gay, even though he had an on-again off-again girlfriend. He came out right after high school, likely was afraid of getting harassed, bullied, which is understandable since some kids' teens can be senselessly mean. This girl could deep throat a roll of Ritz crackers. I don't know about the crackers, but I know how far she got when she blew me. That my best friend was having sex with another girl in our class in the science lab. Tiny, private Islamic school. That talk spreads fast. It wasn't true, but man, those few weeks were brutal. There was an around 30-year-old teacher at my high school who was rumored to have fake boobs. This wasn't actually a rumor because she told people that it was true and was not ashamed at all. She was married. There was another rumor that she was sleeping with the only 2 black kids at the school, who were seniors at the time and 18, so technically it wasn't illegal. She was asked to resign after the school met with her and the boys and their parents, and then she got divorced. So I'm going to go with, yes, it was true. After I graduated, my cheerleading coach told me that she had gone to a party with one of the guys who she had supposedly slept with, and he told her that it was true and that she was the worst duck he'd ever had. The ducked up part of this is that this teacher had a little brother, who was also a senior, and the 2 boys she slept with definitely bullied him, prior to his sister deciding it was a good idea to sleep with them, and after. Of course. She was a terrible person.